came out here this morning to deadhead the roses while we're in between rainstorms. This one here, which is called Coral Cove, is absolutely blooming its little heart out. And they're really a gorgeous salmon colored rose. They're just beautiful. And look at this bud as it's coming out. Isn't that beautiful? So I'm really pleased with the colors on this bush. This one's called Yellow Submarine, and there's some new buds coming up here, and that's what the rose color looks like. Again, I'm just really pleased with it. I think it's really pretty. I do see some rust coming up on it, but it's just been so freaking rainy. Bless the little rose's hearts. They're doing the best they can. This rose is called Sweet Fragrance, and it is just an absolutely beautiful light salmon peachy color. Beautiful. And so I guess I've got it all deadheaded. I don't see any more buds coming out on this one. This one here may be one of those roses that only blooms at a certain time of year, which is fine. This rose here is called Superhero, and it has some really beautiful red roses on it. Right now, there aren't any. I've deadheaded them all off, but there's some new growth coming out. So this bush will start really growing and making it get taller, and maybe I'll get some more roses later on. So I'm happy with the rose garden so far. Now let's take a look at the strawberry patch. There are 10 strawberry plants in here, and they seem to be doing, oh, look what I see over here. Something's been nibbling on the leaves, but there's definitely a green strawberry there. For those of you who want to know what kind of strawberries I planted this variety. And look, there's a flower. This one was pretty much dead out of the pot, but I did see some green down in there, and I'm glad I went ahead and planted it because it's definitely coming up green from the roots. So I'm glad I saved this one. Jubilee watermelon. Doing rather well. Looks good. Apparently I lost the tag to this watermelon, but it is a different variety. But again, it looks like it's doing rather well. And baby leaves. Now let's see how the dye garden is doing. The woad actually is doing rather well. Those two are woad. That's woad. There's a lot of woad plants in here, so I'm really happy with the woad. And one renegade mint plant. The other half of this bed doesn't have anything in it, so I'm going to just keep tilling it over to kill all the weeds and everything. As you can see, there's a lot of little weeds popping up in here. Most of this is crabgrass, which I definitely want to get out of here, but at this point it's so tiny that it's really hard to grab the little dumb things and pull them out, so I'm going to let them get just a little bit bigger before I come out and weed the garden. It'll just be easier that way. The indigo garden. There's 2 plants. Up there's a plant. There's one. And there's one way down there. And yes, obviously this needs to be weeded. But actually right now it looks like these are the only ones that I have managed to keep going, which is okay. It means I do have indigo to compare with my woad, and I'm going to baby the heck out of these. Looking at where I planted the madder, I don't see any madder in here. I think they all died, and I am sorry of that. Same way up here where I planted the mignonette, there's no mignonette, and so those have died as well. So what I'm going to do with this part of the garden is, I think, rather than mess with weeding it, I think I'm just going to re-till it. And again, like I'm going to do with the other half of the woad garden, is just continue tilling it all summer until we get all those weeds killed. Again, the vast majority of what's in here is crabgrass. So the more I till it, the more I can kill it. I made a rhyme. So other than deadheading my roses, I'm not going to do anything else today. We are supposed to get more rain today. Matter of fact, according to my phone, we should be getting rain in the next half hour. So there's no reason to do anything with the garden except Like I said, I wanted to get my roses deadheaded. Wanted to kind of check on everything to see how they were growing. I'm really disappointed that I lost the madder, but I know why. Just could not get them in the ground quick enough. Personally, I'm surprised that the indigo is even growing at all. Of course, the woad was the last seeds I planted, so I think that's why they're doing so well. They were only in the peat pots for a couple, 3 weeks before they got planted. Everything else was pretty much 6 weeks in peat pots, and that made for some really weak, gangly plants before I could plant them out. I planted them out not knowing whether they would make it or not. Like I said, I'm glad the indigo is. So if I can do the indigo woad experiment later this summer or early this fall, I'll be very, very happy. But the madder is going to have to be started all over again. It's just been such a wet spring. In fact, I looked at a report yesterday that Anderson, which is about 9 or 10 miles north of me, has had, since January 1st through June 17th, 28.65 inches of rain, and that was through last Monday, the 17th of June. That's a lot of rain. Indianapolis, which is, Anderson is just northeast of Indianapolis. Average rainfall for Indianapolis is like 42 inches, and we've received 2/3 of that this year already. So, like I said, it's been a wet spring. And so we've got another half the year to go, and I'm really hoping it dries out some. I'm just going to turn you here and show you the fields real quick. I apologize for any wind across the mic, but I want to show you what our fields are like and the fact that it's end of June and there's nothing planted. So, see, those should be pretty tall with corn or soybeans, and there's nothing in there. There's nothing in any of the fields, so our poor farmers aren't going to be able to get anything this year, and that's sad. It's going to be a bad year all the way around. Food prices are going to go sky high because there's no crops to feed the animals. There's going to be a lot of animals being culled because there's nothing to feed them, and it's going to be an interesting next year food-wise. So anyways, there's the update.